Welcome back to Chase Militaria. My name's Gaz. Today I thought we could have a discussion on paratroopers, the US, the Germans and the British, and basically discuss who's the best paratrooper. So basically what I'm going to do, just to kind of help you, you might not need it, but we'll discuss a little bit about the history, just a little bit, because there's so much, it's insane. So we'll just mention a few bits. We'll show some footage and we'll talk about these helmets in particular, and hopefully you can put in your comments at the end on who you think the best paratrooper was for whatever reason. Doesn't matter, but I'll give my reasons at the end of the video. So let's start off with the US Airborne. So initially in 1940 the US came up with the Airborne unit. Basically it was to work on tactics and to work on their equipment. So in 1940 that was, and obviously that was worked on over a couple of years. And in 1942 in August, the 82nd Infantry Division was redesignated as the 101st Airborne, probably the most famous airborne unit in from the US side anyway. And yeah, they were redesignated in 1942, and in November 1942 they actually performed their first operation, and it was called Operation Torch. And basically their task was to take over the airfields, secure the airfields near Oran in Algeria. So that was their first operation, and it was successful. And the US obviously thought, well, it's actually quite good. So they used them furthermore. And on the 6th of June, everyone knows the date, 6th of June, the Airborne were used again on the Constantine Peninsula. And basically their task was to secure and get landing zones. And also, probably one of the most famous battles was the Battle of the Bulge, one of Hitler's last attempts to gain control. They were involved in that as well. So let's talk about this helmet. It's called the US M1C, very similar to the M1 helmet. What designates this as a paratrooper helmet though is it's got its A-frame either side, and it's got its leather chin cup there, as you can see. And basically that was the difference. This one is a front seam swivel bale helmet. So what that means, it was made between October 1943 and 1944 because it's front seam swivel bale. This one's kind of cool. This one on the chin strap, it's got the stamp in A5470. If we take the liner out, on the inside it's also stamped A5470. So yeah, it's cool. The liner matches the helmet itself, so very nice. It's got its original dark green paint on the outside. This one actually does have a couple of dents at the top. I got no idea what by. Yeah, nice decent helmet. Like I said, a couple of dents, I don't know what by. But yeah, a nice World War II US paratrooper helmet. So yeah, and basically we're going to show some footage from the US paratroopers on this one, and then we'll talk about the Germans, and then we'll go on to talk about the British after that. The World War II German paratroopers, also known as the Fallschirmjäger. They were part of the Luftwaffe, the Air Force, and they were initially formed in 1938. and they had some early success when they started invading Western Europe, and obviously they built themselves a reputation. Now the funny thing with the Fallschirmjäger, they used the RZ parachute, and the parachute only actually had one attachment, so it was very difficult for them to direct and control, and difficult to land with the parachutes and land in the targets that they wanted. But also, what people might not know is the Fallschirmjäger actually jumped out without weapons. There used to be a container thrown out with them, and once they landed, they would have to go and find this container to go and retrieve their weapons. Now you think the container, okay, where's it going to land? Also, you've got this one attachment that's difficult to control. You're probably not going to land it anywhere near where the container is. So who knows, you could end up having a 500-meter sprint in enemy territory, where you're having to now go and find this container to get a weapon. So not perfectly ideal, but yeah, like I said, they had some early success. But then in Crete, they got absolutely battered. They lost a lot of men, and after that, Hitler wasn't a fan of using the Fallschirmjäger in an airborne role. So because of the losses, and yeah, obviously if you lost a lot of men in a certain way, but then I'm not surprised if you've only got one attachment and you're having to go and find weapons. Not surprised that that they had a lot of losses. So yeah, so they were mainly used. They still stayed the Fallschirmjäger, but they were mainly used. Well, they were just used as ground troops after that. They was extremely well trained, a lot of experience as well early on. So that they were a strong force, classed as elite. But then later on in the war, the experience disappeared, the training got worse, so the standards wasn't up to their normal standards basically. So yeah, the standards dropped. Also involved in Battle of Arnhem, with the Rhine crossings. So yeah, very famous battle. And this, what I've got in my hands, is the M38 Fallschirmjäger helmet. It's different to the M35, the M40 and the 42, as you can see. More of a bowl. I've actually seen these used as flower pots after the war. So I used to drill holes, plant the pots, gutted. I'd be absolutely gutted. But yeah, so lovely helmet. This one's a camo helmet, and the interesting thing about this, if you can see, it's got white camo still underneath. So it was initially a snow camo helmet, but then later overpainted during the war. It's period applied for like Eastern Europe or Western Europe. So the camo has changed on this helmet during the war. So yeah, fascinating camo. Like I said, traces of the white snow, and then Europe camo after that. So it's nice. Still got its original liner, chin strap as well. Very nice condition. This one is stamped ET68. So that's a size 68 helmet, and the ET stands for Eisenhutenwerker, if I've said that right. Excuse my German if it's bad. But yeah, that's what the ET stands for. And then you've got the batch number 1222 at the back there. But yeah, you can see the stampings inside. So nice, lovely, original camo helmet. And like I said, interesting because the two camos on it. We'll do some video footage. British paratroopers, also known as the Paras. They were formed in 1940 along with number 2 commandos, and yeah, classed as an elite unit. And basically their first operation was in 1942, and they took part in 6 major operations during World War II, and obviously others, but yeah, 6 major operations, very successful. And the first operation was, like I said, in 1942, and that was basically to capture the radar off the coast of France. Involved in many operations across Europe, Italy, North Africa, and obviously one of the main ones that you'll know of or recognise is the Battle of Arnhem, Market Garden, in 1944, where they came across the 9th SS Panzer Division. And this is one of the helmets, very similar in a way to the Germans, bit of a bowl shape compared to like the Brody helmet. And this one, it's got the 48 in the blue square. So that stands for the 261st Field Park Airborne Division, Airborne Paratrooper Division. And they were actually involved in the Battle of Arnhem. And this helmet possibly could be from there. I'll show you in a minute. So it's got the 48. It's also got the Tri-Services decal. Obviously, lots of forces were used in 1944. So it's got that. It's a bit worn, but at the end of the day, you don't see many helmets with the Tri-Service decals. That's cool. Original chin strap. This one's got the makers. Might not be able to see it, but B&B. Nice condition. This one is actually dated 1944 as well. So like I said, Battle of Arnhem, it could possibly be the helmet from there, as 261st were in Arnhem at the time, and it's dated 1944. And this helmet is a size 7 3/8, it looks like. So yeah, a very nice, hard to find British paratrooper helmet. So I'll show you some footage. And basically, after that, I want you to give us your opinions on who's the best paratrooper out of the 3. It could be for whatever reason you want. It could be literally based on the operations, based on nationality, you're British. It could be based on uniform, equipment. So out of the lot, I think the Germans has the best uniforms, best equipment. I love the helmet, but I'm British. I was in the British Army. I have to go the British Paras. As much as it pains me a little bit, the British Paras were the best by far. But you might have different opinions. So tell me, who's your best paratrooper? Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's going to be some footage on the British coming up now. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see your comments soon. Make sure you subscribe, and make sure you check us out at chasemilitaria.com. See you soon.